All right.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. Very proud of our team. Thought that was, a very hard-fought, competitive, physical football game. And I thought our kids stepped up to the plate in both lines of scrimmage as the game went on. I thought all the way across the board, defensively, I thought we were outstanding in the game. Thought our front four were caused pressure in the passing game, blitz packages. Thought we tackled well, fit gaps well, tackled in space well, kept leverage on the football, played good coverage. I thought Chappelle and Jalen Jones played two outstanding games back there. Thought Leon and Damani played well. 27-45 all over the field, White all over the field, Hansford. And the guys up front were, Tyree and just everybody up front. We just controlling. They were outstanding against this. Bigsby's as good a back as there is, man. That guy's good. The other backs are good. They got a big line. Quarterback's athletic, can make plays. I thought we did a really good job of pressuring, but staying disciplined in the pocket, not letting it rush. And a couple they did, it was 7, 8 yard runs. It wasn't 20, 25, or the scramble and somebody come off a guy. I thought we stayed disciplined in the secondary, not coming off our guys when he did scramble to give up plays. That's very easy to do. And was outstanding there. Seth, 4 out of 5. Wish he could have made 5 out of 5. And I'm not. He made 4 field goals, but could have made that one. Thought the punt game. They got us on a punt return, kickoff return. We've been having good ones, pinned us inside the 10, which cost us a little bit. Missed a couple blocks on that. We got to get cleaned up. Punting game was really good. We had some punts out there. I thought we should have had a roughing the punter, which I guess I don't know what that is. So how you have incidental contact hitting into the punter? I ain't never heard that. Or they both kind of call that. That makes no sense to me when your foot's in the air, but whatever. But he punted the ball well. He had a little coverage because we out-kicked it a little bit. Otherwise, kickoffs were really good out of the end zone. Didn't give their guy a chance. Offensively, thought we started well in the game. Red zone chances, just didn't execute. Had plays bound to be made. Thought a couple of the runs we broke out, I wish we could have scored. I thought we'd one-on-one to save the 10 yards of miss. I thought we could have scored on some of them runs and got in the end zone. Got tackled on the first time. What we had to do is hand the ball off. It was an RPO and hand it off or dump it to the inside guy. We had a touchdown right off the bat. And then we broke a protection on third down. And then next time down, that's a penalty, but calling snap count ain't. So, and we told him it was happening. Then the first half, don't do it. In the second half, it's ridiculous. When your quarterback is back in here and he's the same distance the other guy is, maybe we need to get some hearing aids. But, that's too. But still, at the end of the day, you can't jump. Our guys, that was there, but, we cost ourselves there. Then we get a holding penalty on the screen. Should have scored, too. I had chances there. We just didn't execute down there in those situations. Had a third down throw. We just didn't get to read right on that one. We had to kick a field goal. But moved the ball well. I thought we ran the ball well. Thought as the game went on, we kept putting our will upon them, kept running the ball effectively, making the good runs. And unfortunately, a chain did fumble the one when he had the long run, was kind of going to put the game away. But you saw our team, camaraderie, rallied right behind and got to stops and come right back and scored again. But I thought Spiller and the chain ran the ball very well. Had some critical drops in the game, 4 or 5 drops that really cost us some yardage in some situations. But, and that's, we won and I can be upset and we can practice hard and get better. But there's a lot to improve. That's a good thing. We're still playing and beating good football teams. We've still got a lot to improve on. But the will, you talk about skill, that's one thing. But the will of our football team, no matter what happened in all those situations, we kept competing in the game. Kept playing the next play and and I never felt the game got away from us and the momentum changed on us. I never felt that in the game at all, which was very good. And momentum swings are huge in the game. And but very proud of the team, the way they competed. Got better and better with some things we did. Zach, tough son of a gun. Got back in there, and I tell you, the team responds to that. They love that. And that's the way that guy, your leader, your team's got to be, and the guy taking those snaps. When he does that, it's tough. And he played really well when he got back in there. He made deep throws and then hit those deep balls and made big third down throws, took us on drives, made the right checks. Just stood in the pocket. Right after that, 2 plays after that, he stood in the pocket, was taking a shot, hitting that third down completion to Nice right in the middle of the field, man. Didn't flinch. Did a great job. Wish Chap would have stayed up on his post route. Daggum. He went to Dusty Baker's school, and I didn't. I needed 10 to go to Dusty Baker's school, and I needed the other one to stay up and keep running. But that's part of it. But we'll learn. We get better. We're getting better, and we better because we play a heck of a team this Saturday. This Ole Miss playing up there is tough. That night game's tough. They're playing really well. Offensively, they're outstanding. Quarterback's a great player. Offensive line does a really good job. Their skill guys getting early in those guys back. They can run. And they run the ball very. You think something throwing the ball, but their run numbers are through the roof. They can run the football up front. They do it with scheme. They do it with tempo. They throw the balls out. Had new receivers play last week. Both of them had 100 yards. They got players everywhere there. Defensively, Seven's leading the league, 10.5 sacks a game in the season. tackles for loss. They had 9 sacks last game. I mean, pressures, different blitzes, 3-3 personnel, 3-4 personnel, different fronts, different coverages. It's a different setup defense. You really got to study and examine how they do it and what they do. Being very opportunistic. I think they got, how many interceptions? 7. There's a bunch of interceptions. 17 turnovers total, 7 interceptions. They've recovered 10 fumbles, but they forced 23. So, I mean, they're getting their hands on the ball, being very opportunistic, playing red zone, tight zone defense very well, keeping those scores out there, giving up some yards, but playing a really good team, and special teams do a good job. So it's going to be a heck of a game. Lane does a good job coaching them, and they'll be ready to play. We need to. Questions?
Fourth row on the right, David, and then second row, Olin.
Jimbo, what is it about your teams that play better as the game goes on, fourth quarter, and as the season rolls on as well?
Well, I do think it's a lot of the ways we practice and we set practice up, and we give a lot in the season, then we kind of grind down to what we are and who we are, and I think we always practice good on good. I think we practice good on Tuesdays and Wednesdays during the game weeks. I mean, I think you only get better playing good people. And we got good people on the other side for us to block, to run against, and then our line against our defensive line. Those are battles. And we were talking about last week, Mike's man, Tuesday and Wednesday last week practice. Whew, it was loud. It was loud. I mean, them guys getting after each other, and I think they make each other better, and they know it. I think they're learning to compete, too. I think you're learning to play the next play and not dwell on the scoreboard, not dwell on circumstances, not dwell on anything. What can I control? And that's how I play in my mindset for the next play, and I think we're learning that and we preach that, and we try to practice that way, start fast, and how we finish practice and the things we do, and hopefully, the kids are buying into it, and it's paying off, not just because of what we're saying, but what they're doing. And our assistant coach is doing a good job.
Second row, Olin, and then to the left, Zach.
Yeah, Jimbo, has you 3 200-yard rushing games in a row? Has your offensive line come to the point where are they at the top of their game now?
I don't think they're at the top. Go watch that film. There's still a lot of mistakes we can clean up. I don't mean that in disrespect to them. I mean, they're playing well, but there's still a lot of things that we can do better. And we're learning to do better. And some of our young guys just learning to see things quicker. You know what I'm saying? And getting that extra step, and there's still things they need to pick up. And some of our steps and techniques and our skill. I thought we blocked really well. Last 2 weeks, really well skilled downfield. Last week, I wasn't as happy with our perimeter blocking. Our screen game, there's some balls out there in the perimeter, some things we usually make more yards on. We got beat on some pass that was really shocking that we can even get better there. But I think our line still got a lot of room to improve. But I'm very proud of the productivity and the development they've had during the season.
And then I wanted to ask you just about the pass rush in general and Tyree in particular. What's going on there with
they're learning, getting confident. I think our guys are getting better in their technique. And Tyree's one of those guys I talk about, can get to that edge and bend. He can sink those hips, and he can turn that corner. He can turn speed to power, and he can keep good leverage and balance. And that's a talent now. I mean, to be able to sink those lower body flexibility, man. We talk about all these muscles and all this big stuff, those big guys, but you got to have lower body flexibility to play through your ankles and your hips and be able to sink and play with power. That's the name of it. Football is a low to high game. Now, you can draw it up 100 different ways. It's low to high power. You can bench press all you want. You can't create through those legs and hips. It doesn't matter.
Go front left, Zach, and then Travis.
Jimbo, on succeeding in the red zone, how much of that is mental and how much of that is just being able to execute?
Just execute.
Is it 50-50?
Execute, no.
Okay.
We've been killing it in the red zone the last 2 or 3 weeks. We just didn't this week. We just made a couple bad decisions and got a couple penalties and didn't do it. Just execution. Ain't nothing different.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, just execution is all it is. Mentality's there. Just got to execute.
And you had mentioned earlier, after Devon had fumbled that football, you had a few guys that came over, and I know that's kind of gone viral on social media. The guys helping.
I don't
him
have
get
social
up.
media, so thank you.
Well, I know, so I'm telling you. But, I mean, the guys helping Devon up and kind of embracing him, and I think Damani said, hey, we got you. Well, is that something that you can coach, or is that something the guys already have?
Well, that's something I think we try to develop here in the family atmosphere. When I try to make our guys understand, I don't care how great you play defense, how great you play offense. You don't play it together, you don't complement each other in special teams, it doesn't work. You got to be one family. There's too much that divides in the world today. You got to unify and be part and understand, appreciate your teammates. And, hey, there's days he picked you up. All them days he's running for 100 yards, 150 yards, 160 yards. Each guy knows in football, and we don't realize how, I'm not playing as well today, and that guy's playing great, man. I appreciate him. So when I see him have a down day and I'm having a good day, man, that's the part of being part of a team that I can't. That's the thing about sports that people just don't understand if you don't ever play it, is being part of something bigger than you. And being part of being a support system, being an example, being the guy that takes the role when somebody else is not. That feeling of, there's nothing in this world provides a feeling of a team except being part of your own family. That's the only thing that's like it. Being part of your own little individual family. like your kids and your wife and your cousin and all that, and then being really tight. But those teams, sometimes teams can become tighter than families if it's done right and they believe in each other. And that's the thing about sports that I think people truly miss. Like I always ask our guys, what are they going to say about you when you come to the reunion 20 years later? You walk up to your reunion 20 years later. What the players going to say? They're, hey, man, you remember him? That guy right there was tough as nails. He gave everything he had. He was a great guy. He was a great teammate. Or they're going to say he was lazy, not a good guy. I couldn't count on him. I'm seriously, that to me, at the end of the day, that means more to me, to my old teammates, than anything we won or I accomplished or any All-American team I made or any National Player of the Year I won. And that stuff matters what my teammates said about me. I mean, more than anything. And I think you get that feeling being part of a team and a successful team. You got to have each other.
Down front, Travis, and then to the left, Cease.
Not to presume anything, is Zach feeling okay? Will he be good to
Yeah, he'll
go this
practice
weekend?
today.
Okay, cool.
He'll practice today.
And then, what's your thoughts on the amount of coaching firings that have happened mid-season this year, and within this region, how does that affect?
Well,
y'all's
I mean,
recruiting?
I don't know the circumstances. I live my own cocoon. I got enough problems of my own right here to fix. I don't get into it. I hate to see it. I'm not going to say a guy's wrong or right. I mean, I don't know the circumstances, but I don't like to see it. I think it's tough and bad. And for a guy to do that, there had to be some extreme circumstances because that doesn't happen very often. And looks like some of the guys that went, I know guys were great coaches, highly successful coaches. And that just shows you in this business, man. It's what do you do for me lately?
And then,
This is a day-to-day, week-to-week business.
and then with the amount that's been in kind of this region, does that change your strategy, your approach on recruiting any of those players?
No, we're on the guys we're on. We've been on the right guys, and I think we're going in the right direction. And I mean, it may a little, but I don't see it a lot right now. We're locked in on our guys. Been for a while.
To the left, Cease, and then down front, we'll try the baseball writer.
Any explanation on the drops, even by some of your veteran players? And how does it, as a former
It's focus, concentration.
and as a former quarterback, how does that affect your psychic when a young guy as Calzada?
Well, it can't. That can't affect you. That and what I can tell them, guys, hey, keep doing what you're doing. Don't make the plays. You got to remember. I always tell the kids, why did this play not work? All right, I made the throw. I can't. All right, I got to keep doing the same things. But and I said, listen, 85-0 made a couple drives. 85 had quite a few, but I mean, which is so rare. I mean, such a great big player, and you know he's going to catch him. And 0 had one. Just keep throwing it to him, and it does. It can affect your psyche if you let it. And I think it just focus and concentrate. It goes ordinary things. Go back to it. You watch the first one in the flat. He goes to catch it, and he's already got his head right here looking to turn it because he knows he's going to turn that corner. He wants to see how much you got. Just put your nose on the ball. Put your nose on the ball. Your eyes follow. They got to follow. I mean, it's just those things. I mean, it's just there's nothing. Get my head around. When I stick, my head's got to come. Or if I stick and I go to take that next step, my head drags. All of a sudden, that ball, instead of seeing it when it's right here to catch it, I see it when it's right here, and it gets me. And if you go back and watch it, it's just fundamental things.
Down front, Brent.
I got to squeeze in one so my boss knows I'm here. When you
I ain't
saw,
got to answer.
that's fine. I'll still ask.
Time strike 3.
There you go. When you saw, hopefully 2 more outs. When you saw Zach recruiting him out of Georgia, you saw his arm strength. Of course, did you realize how tough he was at that point?
He was very competitive, and I know when he was banged up his senior year, and he took a team that didn't have a lot of great players to the state semifinals on his back a lot and playing against them and getting banged and knocked around and did some things. And you saw a competitor, but you don't really realize a guy's toughness till you get a hold of him and coach him yourself. And all characteristics of a guy you don't know and his intelligence till you really coach him. But you saw a great competitor with great arm talent.
How do you approach this with your guys being still very much in the division race with a couple of
Don't worry about it.
games going?
You got one thing to do. Worry about practice today and get better. The fundamentals of practice today, solely focus on Ole Miss. Play it one day at one. You got 3 one-game seasons. When you get to November and you're relevant, it's a playoff. So you forget about everything else. 1 week at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 practice at a time, 1 play at a time. And that's that simple. Don't worry about nothing.
We'll go third row on the left, battalion, back to back.
Howdy, Coach. It's Michael with the battalion. You mentioned how well the defense contained a scrambler like Bo Nix on Saturday. How much of that game plan do you expect to carry over to another mobile quarterback like Corral?
Well, you're going to have to do the same thing. This guy can beat you with his legs, his athletic. Now, they probably have as many called or planned runs as anybody when they really do it. Was it Tennessee ran 30, 31 times or something? It was something like that. It was astronomical number of runs. I think it was that game. So, I mean, they do it, but and he keeps plays alive. And I'm going to tell you what, he can shoot that ball down the field, too, so when he's scrambling. So it's going to have to be a lot of the same principles, no doubt.
We'll stay on the left, Jennifer.
Hi, Coach Fisher.
Hello.
Obviously, we had Seth Small break the program record in field goals for y'all in this last game. How monumental has he been to this program under
Well, I mean,
you?
listen, Seth is, first of all, as good a kicker as he is, he's a better human being. Seth's one of the best human beings I've ever been around. He's a great Christian young man and puts his influences on the other players in a great way. He's got a great personality. He's a great human being. Mary got a great wife, family. He's a great family guy. He's a great human being, and it carries over to the field and the effects he has on our team. And very consistent, who he is, what he is, works his tail off each and every day and loves the school and loves our team and kicks his tail off. I mean, very blessed to have him.
Down
Very
front.
blessed to have him.
Cole?
Jimbo, one thing that you've noticed about Lane, wherever he's been, it feels like he gets a little bit more comfortable with the offensive execution in year two. Have you kind of noticed that with his play calling this year?
Well, he didn't call plays.
Well, him and Jeff Levy.
Call some of them, but he does. I mean, no, they've gotten better. Of course, the team fit in. He didn't have a spring ball the year before, but they were I mean, their numbers last year were crazy. I mean, I think they're playing. I think defensively and complimentary ball, they're playing really good this year. But he, I mean, he plays his tail off. Lane's a great offensive mind. I mean, he's a very good offensive mind. Their coach, their OC is a great offensive mind. They've combined well. They do. I mean, they do as good a job as anybody.
And then everyone wants to talk about Matt and his arm and his ability to throw the ball downfield, but they have 3 running backs who are averaging over 5 yards per play.
That's what I
and
say.
16
Everybody
touchdowns.
deceiving about the run game. You better. I mean, they pound you in that run game. And get Neely back in that now. I mean, he can fly. He hit that 75-yarder second play. He's got big time track speed too. So I mean, those guys, they're very well balanced. And that's scheme and schematics from their coaches knowing how to call it. They do a great job.
Go to the left, Justin.
Hey, Coach, how do you best describe Isaiah's running style? I mean, he just seems to always find yards. Whether
He
they're
does. I
there
mean,
or
he's very natural. Sees his scheme. He's learning to be more vertical and physical in his running. Very diverse. Great eyes. Cut back. Can stick his foot in the ground. Jump cut very well. Physical. Just a great competitor, man. Just a great competitor. Productive. And at the end of the day, that's what you want running backs. Are they productive? I've seen guys, phenomenal talents and all that. You look at the day, man, we should have been. They're not as productive. He's productive. At the end of the day, all players. What's your talent level? What's your production level? The way I look at them. Here's my talent. Here's my production. Is it above my talent? Is it below my talent? Why is it below it? What raises it above it? And his is above. And I don't mean he's very talented. I don't mean that, but he's productive, man.
We'll go back behind the lights, Coach Mike, and then Tyler.
Coach, when you're playing a team like Ole Miss, who has a coach like Lane Kiffin, who goes for it so often on fourth down, does it change your approach to the game when you know that you may have to stop them 4 times instead of 3?
Yeah, I mean, you're play calling on defense. You'll know in certain situations where he'll do it at, and you got to think after first down. And when second down becomes his first down to you, and when you're up on third down, you're thinking second down. You know what I mean? In the certain field positions and places he does that, you always have to be aware of that when your play calls. You have to keep second and keep that both in your mind, no doubt.
Staying back behind the lights, Tyler on the left.
With the way the defense has been playing, are you encouraged heading into a matchup with, you're going to have a very dynamic offense to defend?
Well, I'm always encouraged our defense plays well. You want them to play well, you want them to be confident, but understand they got to remember why they've been successful and why they're confident and really practice that way and apply the same principles in this game. And it makes me feel better than not playing really good defense going in against them. I know that. But at the same time, that doesn't guarantee you're going to play well. You have to go practice well to play well.
Second row, Ole.
Practice and prepare well, excuse me.
Understand you have your priorities, but I do wonder how much attention do you pay to what's going on with other teams in the SEC and in around the nation right now?
In what regard?
In regard of what could if
Where we could
dominoes
end up
fell
or something
right.
like that?
Yeah, all those.
I mean,
things.
you'd look at it and you say it, and I put it out of my mind. Because none of that matters if we don't play well at Ole Miss and play well. It doesn't matter if we don't play well at Prairie View, and it don't matter if we go to LSU and play well. So all those things, I can't control that. They say, do you worry about it? Will it help if I worried about it? It ain't going to help nothing. What's going to help me is getting focused on what I got to do today to get Monday's practice the best it can be and the players ready, then Tuesday, then Wednesday, then Thursday, and then play well on Saturday and go the next week. It's that simple. And that's where my sole focus is. I don't look at it, hey, that's good. Oh, that's dumb, that's good, that's dumb, that's good. Now, that's about all I give time to her. No, I didn't.
Okay. Coach, just one thing about Veterans Day on Thursday. Your thoughts about
Yes,
that?
I want you. Listen, I mean, to me, that's as important a day as there is in this year. I mean, what people have done for us to have the freedoms and the things that we have in this country. I mean, my grandfather fought in wars. My dad was in wars. My great-grandfathers, it's been all through my family. It's cousins, aunts, uncles, everybody. And I know what it means to this school and the people that have put their lives on the line have not come home and some that have come home for the freedoms we have. Freedom is not free. That's why this is the greatest country in the world that we have that. And for us to remember our veterans, honor our veterans, there's not a greater day to me that it should be celebrated throughout this world each and every year for what we do. And again, I don't feel we do enough for our veterans. We need to find ways to do more for them. Taking care, we got a lot of things we're taking care of in this world. We need to take better care of our veterans who allowed us to have these freedoms in which we've had.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time.